I want to talk about one of the most underrated rides on Disney property. It's in the Magic Kingdom. I don't think it gets the respect that it deserves. I see people pass it by all the time. Sometimes I'm sad because there's not a lot of people on it, and I think that the ride looks lonely. I'm talking about the People Mover. The People Mover, I know. It seems like, why are you just going to get on this thing that just goes around Tomorrowland and doesn't do anything? But I'm telling you, the People Mover is a wonderful, wonderful experience. The People Mover is an elevated train that takes riders on a tour of Tomorrowland in vehicles that will accommodate 20 to 30 people per train. Do you remember being a little kid and daydreaming? I remember when I was little, I used to draw in notebooks, and I would just have notebook after notebook that I would fill up with drawings. But one of the things that I would play around with, or the ideas that I would play around with, is I think about rides and what kind of rides would I invent if I was inventing rides for theme parks. And one of the things I always thought about was having the ride track go through other buildings or go through other rides. And have those ride tracks interact with each other, or have the ride go through other places in the park. And the People Mover really elicits that sort of sense of childlike wonder. There's a lot on the ride that just feels like somebody looked at it and said, well, why not? In Walt Disney World, Florida, the entire People Mover track is open-air cars moving under a covered pathway. And the track actually weaves in and out of buildings throughout Tomorrowland as it makes its circuit. It takes about 10 minutes to go around. You go through Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. You go through some other interior areas where you're shown dioramas that are just for you. At one point, you travel through the Space Mountain ride, and of course, Space Mountain is dark inside, but as you're going through on the People Mover, when you're on Space Mountain, you don't even notice the People Mover, but on the People Mover, you can actually see some of the practical effects that are there for the Space Mountain ride, and you've got the tracks on either side of you for the roller coaster as you're traveling through. On a hot summer day, the People Mover can be a great way to cool off. It can give you a moment of peace and quiet away from the crowds. The ride travels at a speed where you get a nice breeze on your face and through your hair. As it goes through some of the ride buildings, you can get some air conditioning. It actually gets nice and dark. Probably if I was on there long enough, I'd take a nap. Another great thing about the ride is that because the ride is always in motion, and there is a moving conveyor belt to load onto the ride, even if there is a long line, that line is going to move very quickly. So you're just not likely to wait very long for the People Mover unless it's really, really peak times at the park. And I think that the People Mover is something that people don't talk about enough. It is one of my favorite rides in the park. What do you think? Have you ridden the People Mover? Did you enjoy it? Do you think that it should be removed and replaced by something else? Share your opinions in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. This is Places, Plates, and Points.